You ever watch some of these morning and afternoon conferences from some of our governors and some of our presidents, our president, excuse me, and at the White House and then all the state houses? This is Andrew Cuomo. Now, Cuomo is seen by many as the guy who just gives everybody a sense of calm and steady, and he's got things handled. And next to him is de Blasio there with his hand on his chin. De Blasio, on the other hand, is a loose cannon. De Blasio is one of those guys who would rather get rid of all our civil liberties. This is a problem. We've got our constitutional rights, those things that are supposed to be so bedrock that we would literally not be a nation under the current Constitution than give up our constitutional rights. The Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments. Remember, the states refused to ratify this convention until the delegates agreed they would put in this list of Bill of Rights, and 10 of them became mandatory if we're going to operate as a nation. What's under the assault of this medical emergency? Our freedom of speech. That's happening in so many ways. Our First Amendment is at risk. You can't go petition your government for redress of grievance. I mean, crap, you can't even get in the Capitol. I personally have a problem with the so-called press being treated with special rights because the Constitution never gave the media, the news media, any particular special right. When our Constitution talks about the freedom of the press, they were referring to a mode of distribution, not an industry. That's right. It's your right to print, publish, and distribute your free speech. And you have every bit the right that anybody who works for some commercial rag trying to sell mattresses and get a cut off of it. Let's face it. Citizenship includes this kind of free speech. So let's talk about that. What else? Freedom of religion. Did you see what happened in Florida? I tell you what, that's one thing I feel like we responded all over the United States, and we got the government to back off. Now, I wrote a really poignant article a lot of people have shared around the state and the nation about, when my dad went to war in Korea, they sent chaplains embedded with all the troops. And those chaplains risked life and limb. Some of them were conscientious objectors, would not even carry a gun, but yet they were there to minister to the spiritual needs of these people that were facing death in the eye. And sometimes, the medics, who might also be conscientious objectors, were trying to save the lives of these people when they're injured, shot, bloody, messed up, bleeding to death. The chaplain would be ministering to the spiritual needs while the medic was dealing with medical needs. Now, we're in sort of a state of war. We're under attack globally. It's not just the United States. But this is by an enemy we can't see. And our military is helpless to defend us. But I read a scripture that says, "Is anyone sick among you? Let him call for the elders of the church, and let them anoint him with oil and pray for him. And the effectual fervent prayer of the righteous man avails much." It also says in the prayer of faith, shall save him and shall raise him up. This is what our ministers do. It's in the time of most crucial need that we want our clergy there. We want our church to be able to assemble. That's another one of the constitutional rights, the freedom of peaceable assembly. Now, does that mean they have a right to be stupid? Here's the problem I have. They're treating us like we're some kind of toddler nation here, that we don't have the good sense to protect our own lives. And that's just flat out insulting. At least it is to me. Now, I know you may think, well, I've got better sense, but those idiots on the other side of town, I don't know about. Well, listen, you take care of you, I'll take care of me, and the government should just take care of the government at this point. There are some things that we do delegate to our government, and they should be doing those things. But running our lives or shaming us, those are things that make the government our enemy and not our organizer, not our ministers. And I want to encourage the government to call on the higher nature, the best nature in all of us, and let us rise up to meet those high expectations. So that's what I want to talk about. Different governors are doing different things, and let's not make their job harder, but please, let's not put up with them making our job harder.